It began with a quiet update, the kind that doesn't immediately feel real. Just a few words about a hospitalisation, a brief concern shared across news platforms, and then suddenly, the moment no one was ready for. The voice that had echoed across generations, across languages, across decades, had fallen silent. Asha Bhosle, one of the most iconic and versatile singers in the history of Indian music, had passed away at the age of 92. And in that instant, it wasn't just the loss of a person. It felt like the closing of an era, a chapter of music that had shaped millions of lives now turning into memory. For many, Asha Bhosle was more than just a singer. She was a presence, a constant in the background of life's most emotional moments. Her songs played at weddings, heartbreaks, celebrations, long drives, and quiet nights. She had a voice that could be playful one moment, deeply soulful the next, and effortlessly glamorous in between. And that's what made her so special. She wasn't confined to one style, one emotion, or one generation. She evolved, adapted, and remained relevant in a way that very few artists ever managed to achieve. Her journey, however, was never simple. Born into a musical family, she began her career at a young age, stepping into an industry that was already competitive and demanding. Early on, she lived in the shadow of her equally legendary sister, Lata Mangeshkar. But instead of being defined by that comparison, Asha Bhosle carved out her own identity. She took risks, embraced unconventional songs, and explored genres that others hesitated to touch. From classical-based compositions to cabaret numbers, from ghazals to pop-inspired tracks, she proved time and again that her voice had no limits and that versatility became her signature. While many singers are remembered for a particular style, Asha Bhosle became known for her ability to do it all. She could bring life to a romantic melody, energy to a dance number, and depth to a melancholic composition, all with equal ease. Over the years, she collaborated with some of the greatest composers in the industry, creating songs that would go on to become timeless classics. Each collaboration added another layer to her already rich legacy. What makes a story even more remarkable is how long that legacy lasted. Decades passed, trends changed, new artists emerged, and yet Asha Bhosle remained relevant. She continued to perform, but as the update became more serious, that hope slowly turned into quiet anticipation, the kind that comes when people begin to prepare for a loss they don't want to accept. And then, when the news of her passing was confirmed, it felt like a collective pause, a moment where everything else seemed to stop. Fans, fellow artists, and public figures quickly began sharing their tributes. Social media filled with memories, songs, clips, and heartfelt messages. People spoke about how her music had been a part of their lives, how her voice had comforted them, inspired them, and stayed with them through different phases of life. For many, it felt personal, as if they had lost someone they had known for years, even. If they had never met her, that's the power of music, and that's the power of an artist like Asha Bhosle. She didn't just sing songs, she created connections. Her voice became a part of people's memories, tied to moments that mattered. And when someone like that is gone, the loss feels deeper, more emotional, more lasting. But even in this moment of loss, there is something else to consider: legacy. Because while her physical presence may be gone, her work remains. Thousands of songs, countless recordings, performances, and memories continue to exist, ready to be discovered and rediscovered by future generations. In that sense, her voice hasn't truly disappeared. It has simply become timeless. There's also something profoundly inspiring about the life she lived. Asha Bhosle's journey was not just about success. It was about resilience, reinvention, and passion. She faced challenges, personal struggles, and professional competition, yet she continued to move forward, always finding new ways to express herself. She never allowed herself to be limited by expectations, and that mindset is what allowed her to achieve so much over such a long period of time. Her passing also serves as a reminder of how quickly time moves. Artists who once felt larger than life eventually become part of history, and it's up to us to remember, celebrate, and preserve their contributions. In a world that is constantly moving toward the next big thing, moments like this encourage us to pause and look back, to appreciate the foundations on which the present is built. As the tribute continue, and her songs once again find their way into playlists and conversations, there is a sense that this is not just an ending, but also a rediscovery. People are revisiting her wake, introducing it to younger audiences, and reminding themselves of why she was so loved in the first place. And in doing so, they are ensuring that her legacy continues to grow, Even after her passing that I in the end, the story of Asha Bhosle is not defined by her final moments,